100% Radio Network here in the Fishbowl, broadcasting you live from Fishbowl Radio Network studios here in Globe Life Park, the heart of the entertainment district in Arlington, Texas. Man, we've had a great, iconic show so far. We had Rick McNeely with Ali Raleigh on. We've had Chris Herring with Entertainment Cruise Productions for the High Seas Rally. And now it's my honor and my pleasure to introduce our guest today is the legendary U.S. Marine Corps veteran and iconic music sensation, Howard Scott. Welcome, Howard.
Man, it's a pleasure to do your show. This is a long time coming.
Yes.
We've been talking about it for a while, and I'm finally here to do your show.
Yes,
and,
I'm so happy.
Man, listen, I have to tell you, I was not Marine Corps. I was definitely U.S. Army Cav.
Oh, okay, because you wear the Marine Corps hat.
The reason I did that because I was working for the DOJ. I mean, you know, and DOD, and I played every base in the world, right? So when I was playing for the Navy, they gave me that right there. I had the rank of a captain.
Oh.
So, and when I played for the Air Force, they gave me the rank of a 3-star general. So, so it's when you're dealing with me,
man,
I'm an officer and a gentleman. Okay.
You know, your life has been so. I mean, is filled with such triumphs.
Yeah.
It's amazing, just every aspect from the military to music to what you give back to the community. I mean, I don't even know where to start with you.
Well, I'll start for you.
All right, how's that?
Listen, when I first started doing this music, going on this whole journey, people forget we started with Eric Burdon, and he was out of the Animals, Eric Burdon. Mm-hmm. So we met Eric Burdon in North Hollywood. We were playing in a club called the Ragdoll. And remember a guy by the name of David Deacon Jones, number 75 from the LA Rams?
Yep.
Defensive end.
Yeah.
Defensive end.
Yep.
We played behind Deacon Jones. I mean, this is when he first got out of football. He wanted, like everybody else, wow. He wanted to be a pop star. And him and Rosie Greer, you know, they got together. So we got behind Deacon Jones to do this whole magnificent thing of him doing life after football. Huh. So we met Eric Burdon at this club, and we did our first song with Eric Burdon. What got us over the top on our journey was a song called Spill the Wine.
Spill the Wine.
Remember that?
No, that I don't.
I remember. I've been listening to him.
I'm not that
old. This song came out in what, 68, 69?
I was born in 67.
Really?
Yeah.
I got a kid here. Yeah, you wouldn't know that one.
No, 67. That one I don't know.
Yeah, but you remember Spill.
I remember it, yeah.
Yeah,
huh?
Spill the Wine went to number 2 in the country, so yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I mean, you've had so many legendary songs. I mean, let's talk about Why Can't We Be Friends,
okay.
Cisco Kid,
right.
Low Rider,
right.
to just name a few. You know, back in the day, you started out, it started out in Hollywood, right? Compton?
Well, I grew up in Compton. My music
Compton.
thing came up in Compton, which is, I have to just tell you this. When I grew up in Compton, it was the most amazing place, you know, for music. Because everybody we went to school with, you were a dancer, you were a singer, you were a poet, or you were a musician. The whole city was just like full of talent. Full of talent, man. We just like cracked music all day and all night. So that was just a great place to grow up doing music, Compton. That's where I got all my skills.
Well, you started music back when it was real music. Ooh. You know, back in the 60s, 70s, when you look, and I'm not displacing any of the music nowadays. But you know what? The music nowadays is going to last, and then it's going to fade. Yeah. The music of the 60s and 70s, especially of war, you know, is iconic. It's going to last forever, you know, and it's Music Hall of Fame that is going to be, you know, we're going to talk about that as well.
Okay, I'll tell you that the band War, the songs that we wrote are like the new standards for, you know, not our generation, my generation, but generations to come. We wrote the standards that are going to be around like forever.
Yeah.
Like the guys back in the 40s that wrote songs, wrote words. You know, they wrote like Stardust and Misty and, you know, all those songs like that. Those songs will be around forever. But the songs that we wrote, like the Cisco Kid and Slipping in the Darkness and Why Can't We Be Friends? Outlaw, baby, will be around forever. So, you know, we did the standards for our generations to come.
Now, Low Rider and Cisco Kid and Why Can't, what was the inspiration behind some of these songs.
Okay. I'll give you one for Cisco Kid. We were in a nightclub in Manhattan Beach, and it was called Cisco's. And we were playing. You know, I grew up with the Cisco Kid as you know they were watching on TV.
Right.
So we were on stage playing, and we were taking a break, and I was standing by the stage, and this guy came in off the street, a homeless guy, you know, poor dude. He came in and gave me, you know, a little something. He asked me to play a song. So one of the bouncers came up and grabbed this little man and threw him out in the street. I said, wait a minute, man, why'd you do that? I said, the Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. That was because the club Cisco's, right?
Wow.
So I said, Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. So I went back in and started saying, the Cisco Kid was a friend of mine. He drink whiskey, Pancho drinks wine. So that's how that song came about.
Wow. Wow. See, great starts, things that happen.
Yeah.
All right, so I got to ask you about Spill the Wine then, because that one starts out, you know, it's definitely influenced by the 60s and all the stuff that was going on there. How in the hell did that one, what was the influence on that one? Because it starts out with the narrative, and it's a little taking a walk, and it's a little different.
You don't want to know.
No, I want to know. Now I got it. I want to know now.
Well, back in the 60s, man, they were doing a little bit of this and a little bit of that.
Yeah,
Everybody was, you know, oh, they were getting high, you know, pretty much so. And Eric Burdon came up with this thing of Spill the Wine. And they were at this party, and somebody knocked over a bottle of wine on the white carpet, right? And they said it came up in slow motion. They saw the wine hit, and just, so he said, spill the wine, spill the wine. And he was with this a girl out of New York, Puerto Rican girl, and she was like talking Spanish, and the whole thing came about. So he came up with spill the wine, take that pearl, and well, not take that girl, take that pearl. Everybody thought it was take that girl, but that's how Spill the Wine came about. Eric Burdon wrote that song, and that was the first song that got us over the top.
You know, your music has been in movies.
Oh yeah.
Cheech and Chong.
Yeah.
Some iconic movies.
Love Cheech and Chong.
You know, but going back to the days in the 60s, with civil rights, you guys had a lot to fight against.
Oh,
you know, I mean, an all African American band coming out and trying to make their way in a nation then that really was not acceptable, right?
Well, you know, we had one white guy in the group. No, two actually. It was Eric Burdon and Lee Oskar. But when we did the whole civil rights thing, we were doing stuff like with Cesar Chavez. When he was out there doing the United Farm Workers,
right?
Man, we were on the front line with him, man, out in Delano, California, protesting. And when he had about, thousands of farm workers out there, so we performed with those people to just like, you know, be a part of that whole movement. I was proud to be a part of the farm workers.
You know,
I got my ass kicked because of him one time.
Because of Cesar Chavez?
Yes, I did. I got a mud hole stomped in me because of him. True.
Really?
Yeah, I did.
What part of the country was that in?
Santa Paula, California.
Yeah.
Yeah, and right there in Ventura County.
Did you deserve it?
I did not.
So
I got stabbed too because
of him.
Yeah.
Because of Cesar Chavez?
Yeah, he didn't do it.
I know.
Obviously, but he, you know, you have to admire him for, you know, the things that he did. But there were some aspects of him, and I will just tell you what I observed. He stayed at a really nice hotel the night before a rally, right? Which is cool. He can stay where he wants. He's, you know, I got no issue with that. But he comes in a limousine.
Yep.
But he parks. His entourage is way away from the crowd that he's there to address.
Yeah.
The people that, you know, are the farm workers. In our case, they worked in orchards picking avocados and oranges and things like that. And then he marches in as if he's been marching forever, but he really rode in his limo.
Right. And
he got these guys fired up. It was on a Sunday, and he got them fired. And, you know, Mexican farm laborers, on Sundays, they barbecue. They have large, you know, family gatherings, and a lot of them lived in camps or like projects, kind of. And they would gather in very large numbers. And he came in and he got them worked up.
Yeah.
They were all drinking, and he fired them up and then left. they weren't done being fired up. And as you might imagine, through the barbecue and the family atmosphere degenerated as the hours wore on. And ultimately, we got called up there. I was a police officer there.
Right.
And we got called up, and we tried to lowball, because, I mean, there were hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people there. He had just left, and he went from Santa Paula into Ventura. He was staying at the Holiday Inn in Ventura, California. And it went ugly fast. They wanted some people to strike out at, and I was
Law
one
enforcement
of them. Yeah.
was it?
That big scar on the back of my head is courtesy of a beer bottle that I got smacked with and went down. And while I was down on the ground, you know what a lettuce knife is in?
Not really, but I heard about it.
Yeah, they got a blade about that long, and they use it to trim lettuce and broccoli and things like that.
Right.
And dude, he was gonna jam it in my belly, and I got my leg up and went right through my leg. Hurt like a it did, but yeah. So I got and not only that, but then I got stomped. I got a mud hole stomped in me that day.
But
we
was,
all did. There were 3 of us there to begin with, and we were vastly outnumbered. But so I got my butt kicked because of him.
You were front line with you were front line and up close and personal through all these different movements.
Oh yeah,
through the Vietnam era, through everything.
Oh, that's how we got the name War, from the Vietnam era. And I'm sorry, that's a hell of a story you just told there, man.
His stories are never short.
No, that's okay, but boy, oh boy, I'm sorry that I brought up Caesar Chavez. But what I should have did was brought up Bobby Kennedy. But that's another story there. Yeah,
But get your ass kicked about Bobby Kennedy?
No, I was 8 years old when he passed. So.
Okay, but look, we're talking when we did our whole movement about the war was because of the whole thing of Vietnam. Everybody was saying peace, 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 peace. And who would come up with a name when the war is going on? Everybody's against the war to say, name your band War. So we had the name War, which was a controversial name. Nobody accepted that name because the whole country was against us.
Right, so you have all these hippies that are going, think you're pro. Right.
Screw you, you're talking about war. So the way we beat everybody down was with our music. We hit them so hard with the music that they sit back and start saying anti-war stuff. They say, wow, I got you right there. But I understand where you're coming from. The music was so powerful.
And that's every song you have written is powerful, and it hits to a generation of guys that are out there and they just want to make a difference, But you fought through a lot of those times, and you guys persevered, and you played with some iconic music legends.
Well,
Jimi Hendrix.
Can I tell you my Jimi Hendrix story?
Sure.
Well, this is a good story because we were on tour with Eric Burdon and War, and we were touring Europe, and we were in a club in London called Ronnie Scott's. We were playing it for 5 nights. It was just like the most. If anybody in music, when it was coming around, you had to come and see Eric Burdon and War at Ronnie Scott's. So we were playing at Ronnie Scott's, and Jimi Hendrix came in. And I saw him coming down with his.
Did you know him? You knew him at the time?
I knew him, and I knew he was like the top guitarist in the whole world. And when he was coming up, and I'm sitting up there playing my Gibson guitar, and I saw him with his Strat, I said, "Oops, it's time to leave." So I grabbed my guitar and I said, "I'm out of here, man. No way I'm gonna sit up there and play with Hendrix. Come on,
I can't rate with him.
Knees are knocking, man. This bad." Okay, so I'm getting ready to leave. So he came and said, and they said, "Howard, stay." So I said, "Okay." I plugged back in, So then we started playing a song called "Mother Earth," a blues song by Eric Burdon. And we were playing, and he wanted this most iconic solo, man. You could just feel him like this is his last great time playing.
Wow.
Because he passed away the next night. But then, we were going back and forth. So I got my courage up and I started playing. I get my solo up, and me and him are playing back and forth. And at the end of the night, I'm feeling real good. They say, I say, "Jimmy, thank you very much for allowing me." But that next night, he was supposed to come back to play with us again, and we were in a hotel. He died that night.
Wow.
So Eric Burdon went over to the hotel, and they were like, whatever they were doing over there, they called Eric before they called the police. And I know that for my tour manager's name is Terry McVeigh, brought Jimmy's guitar, his Strat, into my hotel room and put it right into my, I was staying at the Holiday in London.
The one he played with the night before.
He brought it into my hotel room and put it right there on the bed and said, watch that for me. I said, God, man, you know, I have Jimmy's guitar right there with me. And somebody said, well, Jimmy wants you to have this guitar. I said, no way, bro.
Oh.
No way. I said, this guitar has way too much magic on it for me to even think about it. I never even opened the guitar to even look at it. I knew it was his guitar. I just left it there. I didn't even touch it. 2 days later, they came and picked it up and took it away. But I had his guitar for 2 days.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, did you know Jimi Hendrix prior to that?
I knew him prior
because
to that.
He's a musical legend. I mean, I don't think anybody thus far has the musical talent of Hendrix.
Not as far as
on a guitar.
I've seen Jimmy play a guitar solo. And I can play. I can play pretty good now. I've seen him play a solo for like 30 minutes and not go back to the same line. He never repeated the line. I said, that was amazing. Somebody could play that many licks. Eric Clapton is a great guitarist. I've seen Eric Clapton play. I could play with Eric Clapton. I've seen him play, and he plays good like lines, but he'll repeat some lines. Jimi Hendrix could play that stuff right there and never repeat a line.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine. Just because being being a '60s kid and a '70s kid, I grew up as a young teenager.
Wait, what part of town you grew up in?
I was in New York.
Oh wow.
I was on Long Island, New York.
Yeah.
But I love the music of the '60s and '70s, and it's just because it's pivotal. Yeah. It's pivotal. It's and especially with you guys when they moved from the '40s and '50s music, sock hop music to that's my ring to classic rock and I don't know what you call it, funk.
Oh, funk it, yeah.
Yeah, you guys changed history. You guys just made the turn.
When we came into music and like with Eric Burdon, the thing we did was he allowed us, which when he came from the Animals, he needed a new band, but he allowed us to like stretch out, not just like jam and create on stage like the jazz guys did. He so when we started doing our music, before we got to be War, and we learned how to play this stuff, we learned how to get funky behind Eric. Eric taught me so much because I was the band leader for Eric Burdon and War, and when Eric left to go on his own, and we had this big War thing to do, we weren't ready for that. We were still like we
were young kids, right?
Yeah, I was in my 20s. We could play behind Eric, but to play. Oh no, he left us. We were doing a European tour, right? And we woke up one morning to have to go to the next city, and Eric was not there. So I said, oh well, by the time showtime come around, he'll be there, right? Showtime come around, no Eric Burdon. And the people were in the club, they said, where's Eric? Show, bam, 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 bam. We had to break more. Said, we want our money back. So the guy came up and said, listen, she says, Eric Burdon will not be here tonight, but the band War will. So if you want your money back, you can get it. If you want to stay, you can listen to the band War. So we did, yeah.
Well, you go ahead and finish.
Okay, we went on stage, and we started playing stuff that we did back in nightclubs and stuff that we did as a band called the Creators and Night Shift, cover stuff. And the people really liked it. So I said, man, we can't keep doing this. We got to come up with our own music, writing our own stuff.
I wanted to go back to when you played with Hendrix the night before he died. I read that whole story, and what I read was that he was he'd had a drug problem, but he was sober that night.
Yeah, he was.
And I can't imagine. I'd like to hear what it was like when you started playing, because I've never obviously had any experiences like that, but I was present one night when the Drunk Monkeys were playing at a little club called Tierney's up in Louisville.
You ain't actually gonna
listen to me.
Compare the Drunk Monkeys to Jimi Hendrix.
No, not even close.
No,
but they play some Stevie Ray Vaughan songs.
Right.
And there was a gentleman at the bar that night who brought his guitar, who had played with Stevie Ray Vaughan, his band.
Right.
And the guy could play, and they started playing, and it took on a life of its own, because it wasn't about the people there anymore. It was they were making that music,
yeah.
And they started they started jamming or whatever musicians call it, and they got into it, and they were playing, and they just played and played together. And this guy was a fantastic musician. Did you have a similar experience when you played? Did you guys just start playing, and you're like playing with the world's greatest guitar player?
Like I told you, that when he came up there, man, my knees was knocking all the time he was on stage with me, until I got my courage up. Because Jimi Hendrix, they say, he was the world's greatest guitarist, and still is, in my opinion. But after we played for a while, and I got my courage up, and we started exchanging licks, it got to be a real good night for me, because I remember walking back.
Now, what does that mean, exchanging? I think playing like guitar riffs.
I play a riff, he play a riff, I play a riff, and then we had this whole thing. Matter of fact, what happened that night, there was a guy in the audience with a tape recorder, and he tape recorded the whole show. And my manager saw him tape recording, and he gave him like $100 for that tape, and it's out there now.
So you have that tape?
Oh yeah, I do.
That's amazing, because that's probably worth a lot more than $100 now.
Amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing.
I have it at home.
So did he make you like feel comfortable, like hey, this is just two guys, we're just sitting up here and with the mutual love of music, having at it?
Well, after a few tequilas, we were doing all right. Yeah, it was a beautiful night. It was such a great night that it was raining so hard that night. Myself and Lee Oskar, we walked from Lonnie Scott's club back to our hotel in the rain. I don't think a drop hit us.
That's pretty amazing.
It was just, yeah.
Now, how old were you when you got to do that?
I was 21.
21,
yeah.
I can't imagine what was going through your head at that point, man. I mean, like you said, knees knocking, sweating, just. That's just.
It was an opportunity to be with Eric, because, like I said, with Eric you got to be with guys from the Rolling Stones. They would come around, Mick Jagger and those guys. We got to meet all of them. They would come around and hang out. The guys from the Beatles. They were everybody.
When they were at the beginning.
Yeah, at the very beginning. When Eric came back after he did the Animals. He was really big with the Animals. The biggest song, House of the Rising Sun.
Yeah.
And after he did the Animals, and came back with this band, a black band called War. Everybody in England wanted to see Eric Burdon's new band, which is amazing.
Now, we talk about the Music Hall of Fame, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right.
You've been nominated?
Twice
nominated, but you have not been put in there yet.
Well, I put it to you like
we're working on that.
No, we're working on it. There was a group out of New York, I think, called the Beastie Boys.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
The Beastie Boys, they got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame doing one of my songs, which was Lowrider.
Really?
Yeah. So they did Lowrider and got into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I said, how in the heck? And here we wrote the song.
Play
listen, here, you got a taste of that? All right.
Yeah, turn it up.
Crank that up, man. This just makes you, man. It's like,
yeah.
Makes me want to.
Yeah.
Man.
All my.
This song right here.
The low rider. The low rider.
This is a sleeper. That's a little sleeper. Why can't we friends out? Nobody can
just the horns. Man.
Every time I hear this song, I can see a '63 Chevy Impala going down Main Street.
Bouncing, man.
Bouncing, baby.
Okay, I don't play the whole song. But anyway, Lowrider was on the Why Can't We Be Friends album. And our tenor sax player, Charles Miller, did the vocal on that. He was just amazing tenor sax player. And that song right there was like a sleeper. Nobody paid any attention to it. It was we had on that song, on the Why Can't We Be Friends was on that album.
But Lowrider was just like the one that
just everybody is just not paying attention to. Which Lowrider got to be one of the biggest songs that War ever did.
Did it ever hit the top of the charts?
When George Lopez picked it up for the George Lopez show, it went through the roof.
Wow.
And right now, Lowrider is, as far as our whole catalog goes, Lowrider is one of the top songs that we've done. I wrote so many songs like the Cisco Kid, Me and Baby Brother, Why Can't We Be Friends, Why Can't We Be Friends. And I have to tell you about this one, Why Can't We Be Friends, because this song, it was like a jam. And we were playing a big show in, I think, Tampa, Florida, our big outdoor show. And we're getting ready to go on stage, and I walked on stage, and these guys are fighting. I said, oh, man, what's all this about? I said, listen, why can't we be friends, man? Well, just slow down a little bit. Why can't we? So I kept saying, why can't we be friends? So we just started jamming, why can't we be friends? And took that song right there to the next level.
You know,
This is genius
It is.
stuff.
And you hear, and this is where talent is. Because you hear so many of these, how songs are written. And that really gets to me, man. It's like, you hear people out on a bus, or like Deep Purple.
Oh yeah.
You know, with
Smoke on the Water.
Smoke on the Water. You know, they were supposed to play, and the casino burned down. Some idiot with a flare gun. How you guys make hit songs out of a couple of phrases or a couple of things that you hear, man, and you just take it to the next level. I mean, look at Red Solo Cup. The stupid songs like that they were just hanging out with Red Solo Cups. The talent that goes behind your music is something that is unmeasured by any other human, man.
You're talking about Deep Purple. We were on the road, and we did some gigs with Deep Purple, and we got through playing. You know, we went out to our tour bus, right? These cats jump these cats jump out to their private 727 with Deep Purple on. I said, "Oh, that's how you got to be. Forget about this tour bus.
We don't want no bus. We want to fly." Listen, that didn't work out too well for Buddy Holly.
You know what I was just talking about? I'm doing a show with Joe Simon, and Joe Simon was an R&B singer, but he did some things with I heard Waylon Jennings.
Okay,
Buddy Holly's bass player, right?
Yeah.
And he also wrote some songs called He wrote a song called "The Choking Kind." And I'm gonna do this thing with Joe Simon, and he did some songs with Porter Wagner, and I said, what the? I didn't know this, you know. So my show is gonna be like R&B, but I got to cut all this country into it now because we have a variety of things up for the show. So
when is this?
Oh, it's gonna be on tonight, right after I do you.
Oh, okay, okay.
So do you still play, Howard?
Oh man, listen, I play almost every day.
Awesome.
But yeah, we can't go out and play. Nobody can go out and play major shows right now because of the virus. I remember, I have to tell this story. Last year, at this time, my birthday is Monday. On Monday coming up.
Happy birthday! Give you a quick happy birthday.
Everybody, come on!
Happy birthday!
Send me some cake or something. But anyway. This time last year, the virus hadn't been taken on. People were just talking about it, and I had this major show out in Los Angeles, and it was going to be on my birthday. It was going to be on my birthday. Next, it was this year coming up. It would have been on this Sunday, and we were talking about going out. We had tickets, we had hotels, we had people invited to it, and me and my wife were talking about it. She says, "Well, I don't think we should go," and I said, "Look, I don't care. I'm going. We're going to go to this show. There's going to be too many people there." And the virus thing had just kicked in. We didn't know what it was, how to react to it. So we didn't go. We shut it down, didn't go. And that was the last show that I was supposed to do. It was last year. I haven't played a show since.
So how many members of War are still alive, the original group?
5.
5. Do y'all ever get together and play anymore at all?
Oh yeah. We play together as a lowrider band. That's another story because, you know, rock music is sort of like you're dealing with a bunch of gangsters and stuff. Sometimes, you know, you get into it, and we lost the name War through legal means. So the remaining 4 of us is 4 of us in the lowrider band.
I saw that. It's the 4 years. I saw the picture. You guys are both all 4 years are in the lowrider. Yeah, right.
There's only one.
Looks like an album cover.
There's only one guy that plays with the band War, and that's a keyboard player. And sorry to say that, you know, he kind of like sold us all out. You know, made some deals.
So is he out there pretending to be?
Yeah. He has.
That's bullshit.
I didn't know you could say that on the air.
Did I say that?
Sheep.
I know.
That's not right.
I know, but I said something the other day, man. They bleeped it. Almost said it, boy. I got to watch myself. Yeah, Yeah, when you go to a war show now, it's just like you put this on. He got say you got a Pepsi Cola on the table, right? And if you go to see war, you got a watered down Pepsi Cola, so you're not getting the real thing. Because I'm not there, Lee Oscar's not there, Harold Brown's not there, and B.B. Dickerson. The four major guys are not there. You have one guy with a bunch of wannabes that are playing war.
So Lowrider now, right?
Wow.
Lowrider, you guys play
As a lowrider band.
as a Lowrider band.
Man,
and you guys will be out there once you're able to open back up.
The lowrider band, we could fill this place up right here, man. I'd love to play out here on this field, but
that'd be
you
awesome.
guys come up with something for me.
Oh,
Okay.
listen,
Hey.
the Ocho Awards.
Yeah. So listen, if you come up with something, we'll talk about it because we could do that.
Okay, so I don't know if our buddy Mark Caruth is listening right now, but I'm sure they wouldn't mind if they had a chance to have Lowrider in there. And
Listen, April 30th, we are doing, as you know, for the 99% Radio Network. We have
The Ocho Awards.
We are having an Ocho Awards. It's going to be it's a red carpet event.
Where?
with bikers.
With bikers.
Oh man, look.
From all over the world.
It's to honor bikers from all over the world that are out in the community making a difference, helping people.
Okay, I played with some amazing bikers in my career. Amazing. I did a song called Outlaw.
I know.
We were talking about that. And Outlaw was picked up by an outlaw group out of Florida called the Outlaws.
Yeah, we're not that group.
No, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying that these kind of guys gravitated to our music, and there was a really group out there in Southern California. I had no clue who they were, and they were like saying, we like your music, and it was the Mongols.
Oh.
All right, so
I didn't know who the Mongols were.
Yeah.
for whatever it's worth, we'll extend an invitation if
you
you want to bring Lowrider in and play.
We would love
3 or
to have
4
you. It would be
songs,
honored.
during that night. We would be honored. It would be fantastic, and we would love to. And the room, it's at the Hella Shrine Temple Event Center in Garland.
Okay.
It is a beautiful ballroom.
Listen, we'll talk about that, and
Okay.
I'll put it out there to my guys, because right now, everything's getting back to normal, sort of like slowly but surely. My agency is saying, like, we'll put you guys back on the road probably in the fall. And you guys, this is coming up in April?
April 30th, Friday night, April 30th.
Okay, we'll see. I'll see if I can put that together.
Maybe use it as a practice gig or something.
No, we don't never practice. No. We go for what it's worth.
All right.
Listen, I have one of the most amazing bands in the country, the Lowrider Band. Believe me, we play all the hits, and the guys have all the energy to do that thing. We still know how to play. And look, let me tell you this. I've been trying to get to your show for I don't know how long.
I know,
We're going back and forth.
He made me wait while he was away. And
I understand.
We wanted to wait.
I understand.
To have
but
you.
that we've been going back and forth, and so when we got the time to say, okay, we're going to do this in 2 weeks, I was ready. So I'm honored to be here on this show.
Oh, me too. Then you had your pipe burst in your house. There was
God.
so much stuff, and we're honored to have you here. We're the stories are just amazing, and we want to promote you as much. Now, going from Iconic War to Lowrider, how long you been a Fishbowl radio host?
Oh.
See, another thing, man, another level of perfection that you've accomplished.
I came to Fishbowl with my wife, and they were talking some kind of business, and I walked around and said, "Look, could you promote a record for me?" So they said, "Well, why don't you do your show here?" I said, "I'm not going to do I don't want to do no radio show. I really didn't want to, So they talked me into doing the show, and I did it just when we were over at the
on East
so you
Randall,
Randall Mill.
When I first came in there, you were already there.
Yeah.
That's when I first started doing my shows, and it was such a hard thing to do in the first time because I didn't really know how to do. My timing was off, but you keep doing it. You get used to it.
You learn,
and you learn. But
you learn.
Like when you first did your first show, how long you been here?
Oh, I'm going on a little over almost 3 years here.
Well, then I got about 3 years, so we must start.
Yeah, we probably almost the same time over at East Marine Mill. Me and Megan started when we did Mad Radio, and it took me. And you know what? Queen Sylvie and Smooth Tim, told me that it would take probably 6 months to a year before you really learned your groove. Oh, there you go. No. They told me, about 6 months to a year to really learn your groove, to learn your timing, and that's pretty much what it was. It took me about 6 months to really learn the timing. And, looking at you, 12, and I told you when you said, hey, I feel so out of sorts being here, being on the radio and someone Mongo, and you asked me that same question.
Yeah, I did.
How long until... Well, you know what? It takes a couple of months to...
Some of us are slow learners.
Well, especially when you have, co-hosts.
Yeah.
To get into each other's groove and niche and, to learn each other's time. Like you said, timing is important.
But you guys have a show here that's about a whole lot of things that make people like myself. I'm sitting there and say, listen, I want to be a part of what you're doing because I like what you guys are doing. You're promoting.
Making a difference.
Making a difference.
Helping other people out.
Yeah. And
so I don't know. I'll share this with you because I know you don't know. I shared it at the beginning of the show. So we have had some great guests, and you are right in that mix right there of guests that we've had on the show. But we actually reached 1.8 million people over the last 60 days.
Yeah.
And if it would take the Ochos to a whole nother level to get
a guy in our group, Ocho, Dan Dorton.
Yeah, he passed away of COVID back the day after Thanksgiving, and he was a guy that he did so much for vets. And before he passed away in early November, he came to me where I worked at the Veterans Center over in Rowlett, and we were talking about Christmas, and he made it possible for us to help 20 families. He didn't get to see it because he passed.
Yeah.
But we helped more children, more families, single mothers with children over Christmas time this year because of him. And so we decided, how can we honor him? And we came up with an idea and we did it on the show right here with an idea to honor him by bringing attention to other clubs, law-abiding 99% clubs around the world that are making a difference, and we get to tell their stories. And there's a wide variety of them, and it'll be great to tell them that night. But to have you there to help us tell that story,
I'll be honored to do that. I'll talk to my guys and see where they are. Listen, you're talking about veterans. We had an organization out in California that we were working really hard at because it was called Homeless Heroes. It was like Vietnam veterans that were that came out of the war. And they couldn't find any help, so they're in the streets right now. They're homeless, So we're doing this thing for homeless vets, trying to get them back into the mainstream, get them housing, and just get them re-educated. And that whole thing, we had that whole program going in Los Angeles, and we did it for several years.
Well, that's what 12 does now with the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center. If you show them that backpack right there, and this backpack. These backpacks are created by the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center.
Yeah.
And what they do is they have a flag on them. They're given to homeless veterans that are out, that you guys see out in the street.
A great number of them were brought to us courtesy of the Combat Veterans Motorcycle Association. I can't remember Grasshopper's chapter number. If I said it, I'd probably get it wrong, but by CVMA.
But these bags are filled with socks, personal hygiene equipment, toothbrush, toothpaste,
non-perishable food, water, notebook, flashlight, sewing kit,
and an American flag.
Yeah, an American flag.
And a reconditioned American flag is always put in a thing. And I know 12 you hand these out to homeless vets that you find living under the bridges, that are just walking the streets. Because there is no reason a veteran who served our country should be without a home.
Be without a home, and that's what I was getting ready to say. You serve and you get out there and you put your life on the line for this country, and you don't mind doing it. If you come back, you come back. Somebody is not going to come back, and so you get back and say, well, all of this right here, I want to do something for all these guys that are on the street, the veterans that are homeless. Why is that this country of wealth can't take care of their own?
It's a good question. We've been asking.
We just talked to Lewis. He's a chief in San Antonio, police chief in San Antonio, who was
in Bear County, not in San Antonio.
Oh, in Bear County. Yeah. He had been in a cruiser accident. He lost one of his legs, and the department's not taking care of him. And he's one of our first responders. Okay. Then we have vets that have lost their legs, that have been blown up, that have been killed, that have fought for our country. Why is not our government taking care of our first responders and our veterans who protect us 24/7, put their lives on the line 24/7? Well, I wish I had the answer for that.
Have you been to the VA?
Yes, unfortunately.
That's what I'm saying. This organization is to help veterans, and I guess it might do its best, but its best is not good enough because of the kind of treatment that vets get. To me,
22. Actually, it's a little bit more than that. It's about 28, 27, 28 vets a day are taking their own lives. Some of them are taking their own lives at the VA in the parking lot to make a point that they're not getting the treatment, the medical issues taken care of that they're supposed to, that our country should be taken care of.
I guarantee you, Howard, with your interest and involvement in this subject, you come to the Ochos and you will hear that night about hashtag Walk the Bridge, which we've been doing for a couple years now to raise awareness about veteran and first responder suicide. And we're actually doing something about it, trying to provide counseling and training and peer support. I'm sitting here, my mind is just going.
And now, I don't know if you know about it, but we got now Memorial Park.
Yeah.
We're going to have a park. We're going to probably groundbreak this September for the Heroes Bridge Memorial Park Foundation, which will be dedicated, will be the only park in the nation of its kind in the world that is dedicated to the families of our veterans and our first responders who have taken their lives due to suicide. Nobody seems to recognize the mental health issues that are going on with our veterans and our first responders. And this park is going to bring the recognition through the help of the VROC and Blue Help out of Massachusetts.
Yeah.
Together, we are going to bring solace to these families that so much deserve it.
I got to ask you one question, though, because it's like popping in the front of my head. So if y'all do come and your partners decide that you want to play this gig, how do you, because we have, and we're quick on the fly, we improvise, adapt, overcome, but we keep our word, we're honorable. How do you guys like interact with like other bands? Because I'm thinking of when I tell Mark, hey, we might have Howard Scott and Lowrider come and play as well, he's gonna go, wow. I know already.
We do a thing once we get our show like established and everything, so we get our music done and everybody knows what it is. Then you get into the part of like the
Oh, that's my ring.
Oh,
my ring doorbell.
Hey, we'll talk about that in a minute off air.
That's my ring
Put that on mute now that the show's almost over.
Why can't we be friends? When we do Why Can't We Be Friends, we always do a portion of that Why Can't We Be Friends where we invite people up to like sing a song, talk to, just talk about why can't we be friends, because it's a very powerful song. Yeah. But you get people up that are not expecting to be on stage. You bring them up and you make them a part of the show. And once the audience gets into that part of it, to see that, the camaraderie, make them feel good, it just brings the whole thing together. So yeah, that part of it is we always do.
So even if they're musicians?
Oh yeah, we allow them to.
So he might could play with you?
Sure. We like I said, once we're established, we always let people come up and play. Definitely do, yeah. That
would be, listen, Howard, that would be iconic. That would be fantastic. And, the 300-plus bikers that are going to be in that ballroom that night are going to enjoy the hell out of it if we can make this happen.
You got to hear my song. You've heard it, Outlaw, right?
Yeah. Oh, that would have to be like the finale.
From San Jose to East L.A. You got that over there?
Yeah. I can get it. Outlaw.
Look, you know what?
Outlaw by what?
I know you got your show to go on to.
I got it in about 10 minutes. I'll give you... Yeah.
Hold on, we'll play it.
But you know what? More. Back to what I would love to do is if we could get something going like on for the veterans around here.
Listen,
yes,
you and I and Sideshow will hook up. I need to introduce you to the VROC, the Veterans Resource and Outreach Center. We're located in Rowlett, but we've taken care of over 2,600 veterans we've been open 2 years now, all across North Texas. We're currently helping one that wanted a hand up, not a handout, a young 30-year-old vet We do our best to try to help these homeless guys, especially.
We partnered with Home Depot. And we fixed house rebuilds.
Yeah, and Mr. Pearson.
Yep.
We do what we can as a resource center to help them. We write claims. We have DAV VSOs or veteran service officers in the house. Write hundreds and hundreds of claims. We do what we can with what we have to make a difference.
Yeah. The DAV, man, I give my hats to those guys right there. That's a real good organization.
Yep, they are top notch in my book. At least our post.
Because and I'm not a veteran, but when someone leaves the service, they usually they're not told everything, that there's given no transition, and the DAV helps with that. The DAV helps. The veterans who deserve so much.
We were talking about the Marine Corps. I was telling you about my grandson. He is he's on the maintenance crew for Air Force One.
Oh wow!
Oh yeah.
He's there supporting Air Force One and the president, and I guarantee he was with the last president and this president, and to be on that level of service, right? He has to have a background check.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything. And guess who they had to check?
You.
So no outlaw in my past here, man. It was a great thing that he was on. He just made sergeant.
That's awesome. We need to introduce him to Sea Dog, because Sea Dog, one of the guys in our club, he was in VMX-1, the helicopter unit.
Yeah.
For President Carter and President Reagan. 2 years with Carter, 2 years with Reagan, and he went through all of that stuff.
Whatever they do, man, it's just beautiful, because he doesn't talk about it, but he's right there. He's right there right now on the front line.
How proud of you?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Oh man,
this is my grandson.
You got it.
You know what?
So we should go out with this song.
We're gonna go out with this song because I do have to head to work.
Listen, now I have to get ready for my show. And can I plug it?
Yeah.
Mine is the Howard Scott Show, and it's on Fishbowl Radio, FBRN.US. I come on at 6 o'clock every Wednesday. You gentlemen are off when I'm coming on.
Yeah.
And boom.
Boom. You know what?
Howard, so much.
Once again, this is the award-winning Mad Radio. Mad Radio. Well, that's my other show.
Good job.
The award-winning 99% Radio Network. We had a great day. I want to tell you to just keep your prayers out for all our veterans and our first responders out there. Remember, today is not the day to give up. And if you could be anything, in this world, please be kind.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Howard.
No problem.
Thank you, everybody.
I'm getting ready.
We're going to go out with Howard's song, Outlaw.
Yes, it's been a pleasure, guys.
Oh, man.
Long. Is that your?